Folks, you better get ready. Iowa, some churches must comply with transgender bathroom laws. Is a church a place of public accommodation, and if so, are congregations required to follow anti-discrimination laws regarding gender and sexual orientation? That's the issue raised by a brochure published by the Iowa City Civil Rights Commission. They contend that any church that opens its doors to the public would be required to comply with sexual orientation and gender identity laws. It's unclear when the Commission's brochure was published, but it clearly outlines their interpretation of the 2007 Iowa Civil Rights Act, known as Iowa Code Chapter 216. That's pretty funny. You add a zero, you have 2016. First Liberty Institute is representing Cornerstone World Outreach, a Sioux City church that fears it may be in violation of the statute. Hiram Sasser, the law firm's director of litigation, said the commission's brochure means churches would be required to let transgender individuals use the bathrooms of their choice. It further compels our client to use specific pronouns when referring to certain gender identities and prohibits our client from even teaching its religious beliefs. Sasser said, Cornerstone World Outreach cannot be made to open its restrooms for use by individuals in accordance with their gender identities, rather than their sex assigned at birth, Sasser said. The law firm fired off a demand letter to the Iowa Civil Rights Commission calling for them to amend its published policy to clarify that it will not apply Iowa Code 216 against churches, and they must acknowledge that Cornerstone World Outreach is exempt from enforcement. I reached out to the Iowa Civil Rights Commission for clarification on their interpretation of the law, but so far they have not returned my correspondence. Chesley Human, First Liberty's chief of staff, told me the ramifications of Iowa's policy cannot be overstated. This is an unprecedented move by a government agency to mandate that any time a church opens its doors to the public, that it automatically qualifies as a place of public accommodation, Human said. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Pastor Kerry Gordon accused the Iowa Civil Rights Commission of acting like a First Amendment Gestapo to hunt down and harass churches and local businesses trying to live out their Christian convictions. Based on what they are saying, Orthodox Christianity is in violation of the state law of Iowa, the pastor told me. The brochure on sexual orientation and gender identity has a section titled, Does This Law Apply to Churches? Just so liberals won't accuse me of taking this out of context, I'm going to provide you with the entire answer. Does this law apply to churches? Sometimes. Iowa law provides that these protections do not apply to religious institutions with respect to any religion-based qualifications. When such qualifications are related to bona fide religious purpose, where qualifications are not related to bona fide religious purpose, churches are still subject to the law's provisions. Child care facility operated at a church or a church service open to the public. But wait, there's more. Church sues Iowa to stop application of transgender rules. Des Moines, Iowa. A church in Des Moines has filed a federal lawsuit seeking to strike down a portion of a 2007 Iowa law and a similar Des Moines City Code section that could apply transgender bathroom rules to churches. The Fort Des Moines Church of Christ filed the lawsuit Monday in federal court in Des Moines against the Iowa Civil Rights Commission and the city. The church asks for an order that keeps the state and the city from enforcing the rules that would allow biological males who identify as women from using the women's restrooms, showers, or changing rooms, and the same for females identifying as men. The church says it teaches that maleness or femaleness is designed by God, and it's tied to biology, chromosomes, physiology, and anatomy. The church says that the commission has published a brochure that says the state law sometimes applies to churches when they operate a child care facility or when church services are open to the public. The church said, since services are always open, the commission's interpretation of the law could stop the church's minister from preaching sermons addressing God's design for human sexuality. It could also force the church to open its restrooms and showers to persons of the opposite sex, violating its deeply held religious belief and several constitutional rights, including free speech and freedom of religion. The nonprofit religious legal defense organization, Alliance Defending Freedom, is representing the church. Churches should be free to teach their religious beliefs and operate their houses of worship according to their faith without being threatened by the government, said ADF legal counsel Christina Holcomb in a statement. The Cornerstone World Outreach Church in Sioux City said Tuesday it has hired the Texas-based First Liberty Institute to help it pursue legal action if the commission doesn't change its intentions by August 5th. This is a clear case of the state violating the sanctity of the church. It should send chills down the very spine of every congregation in the world in Iowa. Chesley Uman, a lawyer with the First Liberty Institute. You know, it's pretty interesting because this is the first of many. Just last week we covered how a church who has an ad on a public transit bench for buses, a bus bench. It says, Jesus is Lord. And it has a little church name up above. One complaint. And somebody wants the entire thing taken down and the word Jesus not to appear on public quote-unquote advertisements. What are advertisements? They are public announcements. That is a violation of free speech. And here you go. Again. There are more violations of our rights as Christians. This is the first of many. There is an all-out, frontal, total assault on Christianity. And most likely these churches aren't even telling that much of the truth. But they are telling a big part of it. Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. That's all I got for everybody. I want to thank you all for watching and listening. God bless and carry on.
We need your help. That is why we have this membership program. So please sign up today and become a member of freedomfightertimes.com. $3 a month, $1 a week, or $27 per year. God bless and carry on.